What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bucketology, and today we're going to be covering a team that we're probably not going to be spending that much time on this year, unfortunately, and I had an idea it was going to be this way, and I think we all really did. Obviously we have to talk about the best teams in the league, the most exciting teams in the league, the teams with a chance to win a championship, and the Thunder, they've been stuck in a rebuild for a little while. We just have to shine light on the amazing play of a guy that we know is an all-star caliber player. This is a guy that I think a lot of people have a lot of questions about how good he really is. Everybody knows that he is a star player, and he is easily the best player on this team by a country mile. He hasn't made an all-star game yet, and that has generally been the case because of team record, but SGA has always been a generally efficient player. I know last year he was taking a lot of threes and his three-point percentage looked pretty bad. Not that he was a bad three-point shooter, but the volume, the shot difficulty in general, just a ton of step backs, deep contested threes, you could argue were necessary for him to take within an offense that really couldn't generate anything besides him. The guy was the most double-teamed player in the NBA last year. He has the worst supporting cast in the NBA for any number one option on any team, and it's not really even close, I don't think. But so far this year, he's played in 5 games, 5 of his team's 6 games. He's won 3 of them, and the team has a 3-game winning streak ever since Josh Giddey goes down with an injury. SGA's at 31 points per game, 7 assists, which is a career high, or on pace to be. Basically 50% from the field, and he's averaging 2 steals and a block. So the guy is extremely active. He's made 10 field goals in every game he's played so far this year. An immense level of responsibility for a guy that is used to it by now. He's been with this team a couple years in this rebuild state, and obviously the Chet Holmgren injury is what spurs a season with, again, just a bunch of bums around him. It is an unbelievable feat. I really don't know how many players with this level of supporting cast could do what he is doing with the team. We have seen enough where this guy's got to be in the all-star game. I know it's early, but this is a proven guy. And I said before about a guy we didn't really know how good he was, because not only do people not really watch the OKC Thunder, but it's just hard in general to understand how good NBA players are when they're playing with a bunch of guys that just aren't going to help them that much in terms of translating to wins. A guy like Devin Booker put up great stats on a bad team for years. And a lot of players can put up great stats on bad teams and not really be that guy because somebody has to score points. Somebody has to fill a box score, even if you're losing every game. Someone has to put stats up on your team. Somebody has to be the first option. Of course, you see what happens when Devin Booker gets a formidable team around him. And we see how great of a player he really is. With SGA, we haven't seen him with the necessary support around him for the team to make a playoff run, because I think at this point we know. But I do want to take a look at what is different from Shai's perspective this season. So the last 3 games for the Thunder, they took on the Clippers twice in a row. No Kawhi Leonard. Paul George plays in just one of these games, and then took on Luka and the Mavs last night on the road. And this is 3 games against good teams. Remember, Josh Giddey is out. You win all 3. And even though the Clippers don't have Paul George in one of these games, the Clippers are an extremely deep team regardless. They should have enough NBA caliber players that can fill minutes up. And they know how to play without their stars. They played all last year without their stars. So there's no excuses for the LA Clippers. And especially when you play a team back-to-back games, it's really hard to get 2 out of 2 because the adjustments that are made. And a team like the Thunder, they have to play one way, and that is through their star player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But in conclusion, the Clippers couldn't get it done in either of those games, and last night, Dallas just choking a bad one. How about Isaiah Joe down the stretch? But the guy who's keeping them in these games. How is he having more success with this team than he did last year? Well, SGA is just driving the ball more. And I think playing without Josh Giddey is helping him do this. And Thunder might reach a point where they have to question if they need to choose between one of these 2 guys. Because I know it's early and Josh Giddey is only in his 2nd year. They're still giving him time to develop that 3-point shot. But last year, SGA was the most double-teamed player in the NBA, and it wasn't even close. And having Josh Giddey on the court with him makes that a lot easier. A guy like SGA is going to flourish. He's going to be able to play one-on-one a larger percentage of the time. If he's got shooters everywhere, if he's got threats everywhere, if he can make a pass to a guy and he can hit a shot, that is going to help defenders from forcing the ball out of his hands, which is what you would like to do playing this Thunder team. Make anybody else beat you, because chances are they won't be able to. I know last night Isaiah Joe was that guy, but how many times is Isaiah Joe going to be the savior or someone like that for this team? They don't have another guy that's just going to catch fire on demand, hit 3 threes, just you can't leave open or he's going to kill you. And so that's just another testament to the level of play that SGA has been coming into this season with. But I talked about more drives. He's shooting less of those tough threes. He's getting his teammates involved more because he's able to drive. Defense collapses. He just has his way in any one-on-one matchup that we've been seeing lately. But it is interesting to keep in mind. The OKC Thunder have not had a game off, like a freebie game, and they are one of the freebie teams for other teams. So maybe they are catching some of these teams off guard. but they've won 3 in a row. So it's hard to catch a team off guard when they have to go up against this guy at this point. They're on a roll right now, but you had to play Minnesota, Denver, Minnesota, LA, Dallas. And your first 2 games, Shai and Josh Giddey are playing. You lose both of them, and Josh Giddey, he did have a couple decent box scores, but it's not contributing to wins. He's not a guy that's going to attract a lot of attention on the 3-point line, as I've been alluding to. And so he's been out. Your team has been way better without him because SGA is able to play that point guard position more. In an offense where he is a ball dominant player, if Josh Giddey is in there, he needs the ball in his hands to be effective. They got to figure out how to play together or else this isn't going to work, because the fit, it needs some work. But you got Trey Mann out there taking a lot of shots. Lou Dort has not helped at all in the offensive end, but he has still been their second best player just because of his defensive proficiency. The torture chamber. Paul George was having fits with this guy, and there was nothing he could do. Luka, 8 for 23. I know that he can put up these great box score numbers, but guys, opponent's star box score numbers can only tell you so much about how good of a defensive player is playing and how much of an impact he's actually having on the game. Because, I mean, you see Luka giving him credit, but also just the fact that you have to work this hard to switch a guy off your best player, it disjoints an offense. It makes you work deeper into the shot clock, and it generally provides you with tougher shots and just a more difficult fashion of running your offense when you have to go up against a guy like this. So even though Lou Dort hasn't been producing on the offensive end, he's still been their second best player, but that still, again, just shows the lack of offensive support SGA has. I mean, this guy Poku has been immensely disappointing for a young player that they were pretty high on, that they thought had a decent amount of potential. The supporting cast is extremely ugly, so the fact that they're 3-3 is an absolute miracle, and it is 100% on the shoulders of SGA to win this team any games. Like, this team might struggle to win 10 games if he wasn't playing. They would be like the Charlotte Bobcats from 2012 or whatever that year was. They set the record, I think, for least wins in a season. So just another shout out to SGA. Appreciate the guy. I don't know how many games he's going to play this year, because there probably will be a point where he gets a little injury and the Thunder say, all right, you know what? You don't have to play the rest of the year. We do really care about this draft pick. It is very important to us. I did even hear about the prospect early in the season. I don't know if there's any truth to these rumors. Maybe it's just thirsty fans of other teams needing to get new star players because their team isn't good enough. I'm talking about you, Knicks, Lakers. Oh, SGA doesn't fit the timeline for the OKC Thunder. Therefore, the Thunder might be shopping him. They're going to get a lot of value for a guy like this, true star player. Imagine what they can trade him for. They love picks. They would love to stockpile more picks. It's not a bad argument, but when you have a guy like this on your team, your first notion is not to get rid of him. This is a special player. Your first instinct is to build around him, and so that's what they're going to keep trying to do if it really doesn't work. I think they definitely would be quicker to trade Josh Giddey than SGA, who is still a pretty young player in this league. I mean, he's been in the league a few years, but he's still young. Still has time to keep getting better, and it's not like he's gonna be out of his prime in a couple years. So, guy just turned 24 years old. Every opponent team's defensive game plan will be specifically catered towards get this guy away from the ball, get the ball away from this guy, make Trey Mann beat us, make Pokuševski beat us, Jeremiah Robinson, Earl, Kenrich Williams. This roster is so ugly, man. It is so disgusting to look at. Lou Dort is the only formidable name I can see that is playing games right now. And again, I'm just going to say it's a miracle this team is this good. So that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think. SGA into the All-Star game this year. I know it's early and a lot of guys have been playing extremely well to start the year. Guys that are starting the season off really hot. They're going to have their cold stretches. It's just what happens. But so far, out of everybody that's playing well, SGA has been one of those top guys, especially, like I say, for the millionth time, consider who he's playing with. That next year, for sure, when he gets some formidable talent around him, obviously the OKC Thunder have all that leverage, that stockpile of picks, so whenever they decide to utilize that, they can build a team that is formidable around this guy, and I'm going to be excited for that day once it comes. But that's going to do it. Let me know what you guys think about this video, and I'm out. Thanks for watching.